to show you today how to last the lining of your upper. So we're just going to be lasting the lining layer in this video, not the whole thing. So we're going to start by attaching our insole board onto the bottom of the last, and we're going to use a few small pieces of masking tape to do that. I usually put a piece sort of just off to the side, like that, and one at the back, like that. You can see this insole board's already been covered. And on our upper, we've left around the back of it a little bit of extra lining there. We are going to remove that right at the end, but for now we want to use it to attach the masking tape onto. And the reason we do this is so that we don't leave a sticky residue from the masking tape on your nice suede upper. But we do that for most leathers, to be honest. All right, so I've now got the tape on the back there. I'm gonna actually place this upper over the top of the last, and I'm gonna measure around about a finger's width from the top there. And of course I want to make sure as well that my back seam is centered. Okay, so once you've got that in place, you can actually pull the upper forward. And I usually use this sort of area here and here as my anchor points, and I want to be pulling forward and outward at the same time. So if I were to just pull forward, you see you get that sort of gaping area there. And if I'm just pulling outward, I get the same sort of gaping area here. But if we pull in both directions at once, it should sit nice and flat. Anyway, for the purpose of what we're doing right now, we just want nice tight lines here so that we can press that masking tape down onto the side of the last. And then we can actually let go of the front because we don't need that right now. So I'm going to now place the last between my knees so that I've got a bird's eye view of what's going on. And I'm actually going to take the glue and just coat the edges of the insole board. Okay, so once you've coated the back area and the front area and the edges there of the insole, we're now going to go all the way around the edge of the lining. It's really important that we don't use too much glue here. If we put glue all up to this area, that'll actually be on the inside of the shoe. So we're just going to do a very, very thin strip around the outside. Remember, we can always add more glue if we need it. So once you've glued around the edge there, we're now going to pick it back up, and we're again going to pull it forward from those anchor points. So pulling forward and outward, and then I'm just going to wrap it around under the last like that. So from this perspective, we can now forget about the upper and just focus on the lining. And we then want to go around and stick the whole thing. So I'm going to start with the edges, the sides, pulling them nice and tight. Okay. At this point, I'm just going to make a note to remember to remove the tape from in there. So I'm just going to lift that up and put a tiny bit more glue under there. And while I'm at it, I'm going to do the same thing at the back. the tape is all removed, we can start pressing this down again, and around the toe and the heel section we actually want to pull some small pleats in. So I'm just trying to pull it as far away from the edge here as possible and then sticking it down. And these little pleats are sort of happening as a byproduct of that. So just notice that I'm pulling in different directions just to make sure that I'm getting all those pleats over the edge of the shoe. Okay, so lots of little pleats are better than a few big ones. And then we can turn it around and do the same thing at the back. So I'm just going to pull the back section flat first, and then I'm going to pull my pleats in on either side. Okay. All right, so that is now a lasted lining. You can see underneath it's nice and tight the whole way around. And what we can do now at this stage is we can actually trim off the excess. So I usually start with scissors and just trim off the big pleats. Once you've trimmed off the big pleats, you can use a safety beveler or a skiving knife to just shave off any excess lumps or extra bulge bits to make sure we've got a really nice smooth surface. And we'll do the same thing at the back as well, but this is really the finish that you want to have there. And that's a lasted lining.